welcome to the NT Recap. Boy, do we have an exciting show for you today. We are talking about Blockbusters hitting the NT. We're also talking about the possible expansion of Palmerston City Council and Palmerston City in general. And we are also talking about a possible new sun tax, well, what people are calling a sun tax. Now, I am Sophia Emberson-Bain. I have with me Ashley Manakaras and Sinclair Hunt. Later in the show, we will be talking with Matt and Damo, who went on an epic four-wheel drive trip, which I'm sure you're really sad you missed out on.
I wouldn't have been sad if we had to paddle anywhere with small paddles, that's for sure.
What about the use of a shovel to dig something out?
I think I've dug myself out of a lot of stuff a long time ago.
Well, let's see what they get up to. If that's not enough, we're also talking with a local Territorian who is going, hopefully, to the Paralympic Games, Tom O'Neill Thorne. My interview with him was so interesting. I don't want to give anything away, so let's get into what's happening. There are 2 episodes of MasterChef being filmed at Uluru and Simpsons Gap. There's also another show that's filming in Alice Springs at the moment called Mavericks, which is about a group of motocross drivers, children series for ABC and Netflix. There is also, well, there was meant to be a series filmed up here called The Newsreader, which is set in the 1980s. It was meant to be in Darwin, but I think because of COVID, it couldn't happen up here, so they filmed it in Victoria. But why I say this is because the southern states seem to be recognizing that film plays a massive role in the economic strategy. The Victorian government are investing $191 million because they think that it will inject $1.2 billion into the economy, which is crazy.
Well, it is, but if you look at it, it's already happening. I mean, you look what's happening in Queensland with some of the Hollywood movie stars who are buying property in Byron Bay because they're going to be filming more here. You've got Marvel moving into Victoria.
No, Sydney. They're moving into Sydney.
Into Sydney. And then you've got the Northern Territory's already historically had plenty of great movies here. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Crocodile Dundee, which is just filmed up the road in Howard Springs.
We all
Little
know
Lagoon.
Howard Springs.
and it, you know, so it makes sense. It makes economic sense.
Yeah. No, it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, and like the old Mad Max films, you know, that was all filmed down south, and that had a massive cash injection into those remote areas, and you know, filled accommodations. They brought in, you know, lots of extra people to cater, so you know, pumped a fair bit of cash into them.
Well, the Northern Territory government has invested $1.5 million into the Mavericks film, which is, I believe, the largest local production ever, and it's set to create 60+ jobs. I mean, I think the Northern Territory government, some would say that it's definitely on the right track to getting more investment up here, but it's exciting times if you're in the creative industry.
It is if you're in the creative industry, but I think the Northern Territory government's also looking at it from the tourism point of view, because there's lots of destination tourism attached to it. Game of Thrones has shown that through Norway and some of the areas they filmed there, and Downton Abbey. A lot of people going to have a look at Downton Abbey and what that looks like. I think that's where the benefit comes from the Northern Territory. There was a famous film in the 80s called Mediterraneo, which was shot on a Greek island called Castellaricio. It attracted an enormous amount of Italian tourism because of the way it looked, the scenery. And the Northern Territory's got some of the best scenery in the world.
I think that was the same thing with Lord of the Rings as well. You know, they did a lot of filming that in
New
NZ.
Zealand.
So, you know, apart from Oyster Bay wine and the All Blacks, it was probably the next best thing to come out of New Zealand.
And Queenstown. Sorry.
Well, we'll all see what happens in the future. Another thing which is interesting, closer to home as to where we are, is that Palmerston City is possibly being expanded. Tell us about it.
Well, it's an interesting story because it doesn't happen very often. The town boundary very rarely gets moved. And what you've seen is that between Darwin, and we're not far from the Berrima line here, and Palmerston, there's actually a no man's land. And that no man's land has a couple of new developments in it. One of them is North Crest, which is less than a kilometre from where we are. And so that it doesn't belong to a municipality, which means they don't get access to services like the community rubbish, maintenance,
I think
grass cutting.
So on your screens, it's the pink part that they're possibly expanding. The blue part is currently Palmerston, and they would be expanding all that pink part.
Now, the thing about the expansion is what it does. It's a win-win for everyone because the resident gets the access to the services, but the council itself gets access to rates,
To the
revenue,
money.
and that is what it's all about. It's all about how you can rateable areas. And so, what you've seen on that map just there is they're going to literally double the size of Palmerston from an area point of view, and with all the infill that will come there, it will give them about 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 properties to then put rates onto.
So who's in charge of that area now at the moment? Is the NT government?
NT government.
NT government.
Yep. Righto.
And so they don't actually, there'll be a body corporate attached to Northcrest that's responsible for all sorts of services with the homes that are there now, and no one really owns it. Would have been pretty competitive between Darwin City Council and Palmerston City Council
And
to
I
get
think,
that area.
I mean, one of the other benefits is that you'll get council administration of bylaws, which, look, my opinion is that people don't care too much about bylaws unless a dog bites you, then some other dog owner bites you, and
If your dog gets out,
yeah.
right, then you care about the bylaws. So that's
Yeah,
$320 for having a dog
exactly.
at large.
Exactly. But anyway, it's an interesting thing. Watch this space. Another thing that is happening, which I think that people will probably want to pick up the phone and call their council. You don't need to worry about it in the NT right now, but there is possibly a sun tax. So what happens right now is that if you have solar panels on your roof and you don't use all of that energy and you put it back, export it back to the grid, there is, at the moment, there's a tariff and you normally get a little bit of money. They are thinking about charging people. So a government who has, encouraged so many people, which, exponentially people have got solar panels based on the incentives that government have provided to slash bills, but also do your bit for the environment. You are now getting charged, possibly, to do that.
So you're being charged to provide free energy into the grid.
Yeah.
What's one more tax, hey? What's one more?
Well, it's
Like,
technically
squeeze us
not
dry.
a tax, yes. I think they're calling it a sun tax, but it's a charge.
So they're saying, and it's also, did I read that it's not, currently it's not going to happen in WA or the NT, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that if they ever brought in someone like that up here, it'd be anarchy.
Well, yeah, I don't think they brought it
For
in.
the same reason there's no boat licences required at all, so it's on the same page.
Well, I think they haven't brought in the Northern Territory because we're not actually part of the national grid. So our power wouldn't be going back into a national. There's no power line that connects us with South. The other, I think what you'll find though is that the tax is about upgrading the grids that already exist in other parts of Australia so they can actually handle renewable technology. At the
But
moment,
on
they
the other
can't.
side of things, people are saying that it's ridiculous to charge the people who have solar panels to do this.
You're actually
And-
getting that energy for free.
Yeah.
So
It
it's
hasn't cost you the infrastructure to put it in there. It's crazy.
Anyway, never mind. Well, let us see what Damien and Matt got up to because they were in the sun and they had an epic four-wheel drive trip. Let's see what they did.
So I've got to go old Dukes of Hazzard here. Ooh, here we go. Whoa. I've got to get down under there and unspool the winch and hook it onto that vehicle. I've got to get down in the mud, mate. You hang on to that. Wait. Thanks. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta clip that on here. I'll wash your car later, mate. Phew. Looks like done a doozy. Left. Easy, bro, easy.
One thing you don't want to do out here at Gunpoint is head too far out to the water where the sand gets soft. If you go out too far, the car's going to get bogged, knee deep with soft sand, the tide's going to come back in and you're going to be in all sorts of trouble just like this. There are so many beautiful places to visit, but you can't take your dog to every single location, especially the national parks in the Northern Territory. But here at Gunpoint, you absolutely can bring your pet.
So when you're out in the scrub and you're having an adventure with your mates, you've got to make sure you stay fed and you've got to make sure you stay watered. Hydration and food are very, very important. So I'm whipping up a good feed here. I am, of course, the Outback Master Chef, but no good meal goes without a little bit of salt.
First of all, Damo, I see that mop had eyes that was running along the beach there, and I hope that wasn't what you were cooking up on that barbecue.
Well, we're neither confirmed nor deny, mate.
You got to do what you got to do,
the
man. When you're hungry, you're hungry.
Yeah, too right.
Well, man, I've got to say it's fantastic. You've actually got a shirt on.
Just for you, mate. I need you to be able to concentrate while we do these segments, so.
Oh, yes, I wouldn't be able to concentrate without you having a shirt. Oh.
Not you, I meant the boys. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, surrounded by men. But you're not with Matt today.
No, I don't even know where Matthew is. Like, last time I saw, he was chasing that little dog out at gunpoint, and that was the last I saw of him.
So you left him behind on your epic journey.
Yeah, well, like, my ute goes faster than his. Well, it used to. I actually broke my ute on that little adventure, so that's sitting there with the hood up waiting for a couple of repairs to be done. But you know what? You get that on the big job. If you're not breaking something, you're not having enough fun.
Clearly. Well, I can't wait to see what you guys get up to next episode, because that was wild. I really enjoyed
I want to
that.
go back to gunpoint, really, but we do have something cool in store for you, so we're excited as well.
Oh, okay, great. Well, we'll see you next week.
See you, mate.
Oh, fantastic. That was something. I am not surprised, actually, that his ute got damaged.
No, I think it's not long for this world, that thing. I think it's had some ongoing problems for a while now. So.
Tell us what's happening around the place.
So we have a few gigs happening at the moment. Alice Springs is a Tarantino night. So please, everyone, do not everybody dress as the Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
I was going to say that people were going to dress up as Uma Thurman.
Oh, no, the Gimp, hands down.
Oh, I'm thinking white shirts with thin black ties and black suits.
Yeah, could be.
Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown.
So that's on at the Jump Inn in Alice Springs. I'm so excited. There's also West Max Monster Trail running. So they do a running like festival down there, so everyone gets together and runs in that.
Oh yes, I
you
think you can volunteer. I think you can volunteer
to help out at.
Yeah, to help
those
out
people
at
that
it.
hand out the water as people bolt past you.
Exactly.
There's also a bit of Freddie Mercury action going on with the epic mustaches, hopefully. But a Queen Forever Break free tour at the Araluen Arts Centre.
Yeah.
All right, that's on your screen at the moment.
And then I think they then come up to Darwin and then they perform that at Darwin Entertainment Centre.
All right, so that'll be happening in Darwin as well. Also in Darwin, we've had the new coffee shop open for Copy Stop, which was also over in Harriet Place as well. So they're in the Vic Arcade. If you haven't had the Singaporean breakfast there, do it. It's amazing.
Yep.
Bit of no scrubs action, if you remember that. Then it was epic in the 90s to 2000s party in the Smith Street Social up the end of the mall there.
Yeah, and Garmalung is the festival that I'm really looking forward to.
Who are you
because
saying you fancy in that?
I cannot wait to see Electric Fields. They're performing. I love Electric Fields. There's also a morning tea that you can have with an elder, and I think they just have really interesting events. Some of them are ticketed and some of them are free. So go check it out. It seems like an amazing festival.
And then K-Town in Katherine, you've got they've got a Katherine Tidy Street competition that you can enter into with a couple of $100 cash there to win. Everyone loves a bit of cash right now. And also the Katherine Pride Festival tickets are on sale as well for down there in Katherine.
Yeah, there's so many events at the moment where you probably should start thinking ahead.
Booking ahead.
Because with everyone coming up to the NT, which is what we talked about last week on the show.
Well, Base in the Grass sold out very quickly, didn't it?
Exactly.
And I know people that have come up here that cannot get a hire car, and there are no hire cars available for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, they certainly won't be hiring out Damo's old ute, that's for sure.
Some of those roads look like they've been maintained by the Palmerston City Council.
Very funny, very funny, very funny. Anyway.
That's what your rates get you.
I want you guys to check out an episode, my earlier chat today with Tom O'Neill Thorne, who is hopefully heading to the Paralympic Games. He's previously been to the the games before. He is a wheelchair basketball superstar, and he is a local guy. Check out my chat with him earlier today. Hello, Tom. I am so excited to be talking with you.
Thanks for having me here.
No, thank you, because you are a born and raised Territorian.
Yep.
You went to a MULL primary school
Yep.
back in the day.
Yeah,
and
a little while ago.
Yeah. You went to Sanderson and Casuarina Senior College, and you play for the Brisbane Bullets.
Yep.
Wheelchair basketball, and you are possibly going to the Olympic Games. Now, the Paralympic Games are 99 days away.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I mean, I kind of lost track of time. And only last night when I looked at my phone, I realised when a little social media thing popped up from Paralympics Australia that it was 100 days away. A little closer than I was thinking, but so it's getting a little bit nervous now. But no, it's looking really good. Yeah.
And there are lots of things happening. I mean, tell us what you can, because I know that you've got events leading up to the games.
Yeah, so we haven't had the final team selected yet. We're still actually waiting for a couple of guys overseas that have been stuck over there because of COVID to come back. So they kind of get back in mid-June, and then we'll have a final selection camp for the whole team at the end of June. Yeah. And then we'll kind of know who's in, who's out. But in the lead up to that as well, for the next 6 weeks, my life's going to be a little crazy.
Hectic.
There's stuff flying around Australia a bit. Our National League starts up, so with the Brisbane team. So I'll be in Brisbane, back in Darwin, in Sydney, Perth, Melbourne, kind of just flying all over the place. So it's about to get a little bit crazy.
And then you were saying that on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of July, you can see is it the tryouts? What is it?
No, so it's our actual National League finals are coming up here. So we've got 4 teams in the league this year, and they'll all be up here for our finals. So over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll have different games over the weekend.
And that's at Marara. And people can come and book tickets, watch.
Yeah, just walk in. I think you can get a ticket at the door and come watch literally some of the best athletes in Australia and in the world play.
And that's so exciting as well, because a lot of people won't have the opportunity to go to the games this year because of COVID and everything. So if you wanted to watch something here live as well, you can get to meet and see these games perform.
Exactly. We're pretty lucky as well. After the finals are finished, we actually have a national team camp as well with the final 12 selected. So really, it'll be the only time in Australia this year that you'll be able to see the Australian team play. So it's pretty exciting, and it's all happening in Darwin.
That is so exciting. Oh my gosh. I've never seen wheelchair basketball, but I mean, when I see it on TV, it always fascinates, well, as in like snippets of it on TV, it always fascinates me. I'd love to go and watch a whole game.
For sure. Yeah, everyone can come down.
Yeah,
100%.
No, that's really cool. And then tell me also, the games have been postponed by a year. Because of COVID. How has that thrown out training schedules and things? Yeah,
honestly, at the start, I was looking a bit shaky. At the time when it kind of all fell apart and was off last year, I thought the games were going to kind of be cancelled and it was going to be another 4-year process, which was kind of devastating because we've got a couple of guys who are coming into the team. Another local, CJ McCarthy-Grogan, was coming into the team last year, and it was going to be his first games. And we had a couple of those guys, and then a couple of guys going for their 5th Paralympic Games.
Because this is if you get in, this is your second.
Yeah, this will be my second. So I'm still kind of getting into it. So I was less worried about myself and more of the guys, going for, historical 5-time Paralympians or first time. So it was a bit, sucks for them, but, it's looking good this year. And it seems like the IOC and the IPC have kind of sorted it all out and it's going ahead.
Oh, fingers crossed for the next 99 days.
For sure. Yeah, but from a training perspective, I was actually living over in Europe when it all really kicked off. And hadn't been back to Darwin in about 5 years, really. But it's been amazing. And I never thought, in my whole life, that I'd be able to train for Paralympic Games at home. So I'm feeling good, I'm feeling fresh.
And then the national team is here. It's like everyone's coming to you. It's a perfect place to be.
Exactly. And I mean, we're pretty lucky up here this year. I always thought that Darwin was a bit split from the rest of the world as its own little oasis. And I think the COVID's kind of showed that it really is. And over the weekend with base in the grass and everyone coming up here, I think it's incredible what we've been able to do up here.
No, I'm so excited. I'm definitely going to be one of those people buying tickets to go.
Perfect.
And if you do get into the team, all the best. Good luck. We will be cheering you on. It's always great to have a Territorian that you know and you've even met. Oh, I've met you, I've touched you. Going over there. So good luck. Congratulations.
And everyone, tune in. Watch some basketball. Awesome. Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks. Oh, that interview makes me so happy because he's doing great things. I'm really excited. It's him and another guy called CJ from the Territory who are possibly in the running to get into these games. But another thing that makes me excited, is the fact that Krispy Kremes is coming to Darwin. I mean, Palmerston.
Just eat it. Diabetes.
Yeah.
Just eat it, eat it, eat it. No, not for me, people.
No.
Sorry.
I love Krispy Kremes. Anyway, whatever,
They're right
guys.
up there again,
Each to
man.
their own.
I am so excited about Krispy Kremes coming to Darwin, Palmerston. I don't know why I keep saying Darwin. I mean, close. But enjoy, because it's coming to Palmerston. And thanks so much for watching and staying tuned, and we'll see you next week.